I'm going to share my screen first, if you don't mind. Okay, welcome everyone. This session is in recording. It's going to be recorded. So you're attending the Students Who Are Parents SWAP and Parents on a Mission PALM event. So this event is open to all TCC students who are parents. So we have moms and dads attending today. We're here to support students who are parents through mentoring, coaching, and resources. This is our fall semester session. I'm just gonna give you a brief overview of our events. So first of all, we want to thank the TCC Foundation and TCC Administration for supporting our events. So our funding are three sources. First is the TCC Student Life and TCC Foundation and the Women's Foundation of Oklahoma. So thanks all these supporting organizations for the successful support of our events. So you're attending the fourth event of the semester, and then we have 4 more events which will be packed with resources from our Department of DEI Academic Coaching Office and the community speakers. So today's agenda, we have invited speaker Chad Michael from TCC Wellness counselor, from TCC Wellness office. So he's a licensed counselor, followed by Q&A at 1:05. And then we have a short survey and prize drawing. We will have 5 prize drawings today. So Chad is going to talk about the power of our thoughts, how they impact the way we feel, the outcomes they shed in our life. So I know a lot of students have attended Chad's counseling session, which proved to be very helpful to the students. And so we're very happy to have you back, Chad. So again, I would like to mention a few things. Yes, I'm Joy Best, one of the academic success coaches. There are 3 of us, Tisha, Michael, and I, and we support the students through 8 facts of college life. As you can see, we provide resources for leadership. Oh, and I want to mention that Dr. Dickens is the director of DEI, and so we work together as a team here to develop different areas of resources and support that we provide to students. So we've been providing one-on-one coaches and workshops on time management, leader motivation, and successful study skills, as well as other college and community resources such as leaderships, and we have invited speakers to support us. So please make sure to make appointment with us. And next, I'm going to show you my contact. So one thing I would like to mention is that this is almost the end of the first 8 week. So you might be taking classes for 8 weeks. And if so, have you enrolled for the next 8 weeks? So I just want to give you a short reminder. The deadline to file for graduation is October 29th. So these are some of the facts that I just want to remind you. So where are the actual resources? I know for enrollment you can talk to your advisor, but we are the extra layers of support. One thing about our swap, we do have the weekend bag. We use the resources from the Women's Foundation of Oklahoma to provide different kinds of games for parents to use. So feel free to check them out this provide some good games and books and different things for you to use with your family. So next, let me see. So next we're going to open the floor to our speaker today, Mr. Chad Michael. He is a licensed professional counselor in the state of Oklahoma. Chad has been employed with TCC since September 2019. Prior to TCC, the vast majority of Chad's professional experience is in the field of mental health, involves working with families and adolescents. So all current enrolled students are able to meet with Chad for 5 free counseling sessions throughout the academic year. He can be reached through email or by phone here. So last semester, we have invited him to talk with us. So we're so glad to have him back. It's going to be followed by Q&A. After that, we're going to have 5 prize drawings, 5 gift cards. Now, in August and September events, we also have $5 gift cards for each event's drawing. It's in the process. Our department administrative support, Kelly, is trying to process the prize today. So our event survey is available on our DEI website. If you search by SWAP TCC, it will show up. Just scroll down to the bottom of that page and you will see the recordings and the link to the survey. So I will leave some time later at the end of the event for Janica to hold a short meeting with the e-board. These are our e-board members. So thanks for everybody, our officers work on the e-board and our activities. I think Janica would talk about it later. So yeah, at this point, I just quickly went over everything. And I'm going to give the mic to Dr. Dickens to say a few things of encouragement.
My only words of encouragement are listen to everything that Chad is going to tell us, and I'm looking forward to hearing what he has to say.
Here you go.
Does that mean I'm up, Joy?
Yes,
All
yes.
right.
Hi, Chad.
Hi, Joy. Hi, everybody. Hey, Dr. Dickens. Thank you for letting me join you today. I am getting set up to screen share with you here, so let me see what I can do. Hopefully this will work out. I just want to warn everybody that, and maybe this is campus-wide, but Southeast is having some issues with our internet access today. So if things get funky, I apologize, but somebody please speak up and let me know. And if you get the dreaded frozen face of mine, let's hope it's a good one. So is everybody looking at my PowerPoint right now? Okay, good deal. So my name is Chad Michael, and I am TCC's licensed professional counselor. There we go. That looks better. So again, thanks for having me today. I tend to talk a little bit quick, and I think I'm on a little bit of a shorter time frame with you today. So for the sake of staying on schedule, I'll kind of go through this as quickly as possible, try to hit some highlights. I'm guaranteed to ramble from time to time, but if anybody has any questions, we'll have a few minutes at the very end. So this is my contact information. You can always just email or check out the Tulsa CC website. /wellness to find me, and we'll look at the website in a little bit more detail here in just a second. So before I say anything, this is not a pitch for counseling. You do have access to me. Every student that's currently enrolled has access to me for 5 mental health sessions throughout the academic year. But I am not here to sell you on that. I'm just here to let you know I'm available. And I think it's important that you know a little bit about my approach when it comes to counseling, because a lot of people have different sort of theoretical orientations, or depending on where they went to school, they might have a bias in one way or another. We all do. But from my perspective, I'm very much insight oriented, meaning the more awareness you have about yourself, the more knowledge you have in terms of altering outcomes or increasing the well-being of your life. I'm very much a cognitive feeling behavioral oriented therapist, and that's a long-winded way of saying that I'm a big fan of recognizing how our thoughts impact our feelings and then our behaviors and actions in life. And we are definitely going to spend a little bit more time on that later today. Third, I'm growth oriented. I have never met a student that came into my office that didn't qualify for being growth oriented. Everybody that reaches out to me, for regardless of the reason, is reaching out in order to improve the well-being, the outcomes of their lives in one way or another, and that is growth oriented. Everybody at TCC is at TCC to do something to improve the outcomes of their life. So you automatically get that that label as being growth oriented. And then finally, I'm a positive psychology guy. And that's a little bit of a trendy term right now in the mental health field, or at least it started to be about a decade ago. But essentially, a lot of people come to counseling and that maybe the stigma is there's something wrong with me, or that counseling is strictly to focus on my problems. And that could partially be true. There could be things that you're having challenges with. There could be issues in your life that we need to correct in order for you to better thrive. But generally speaking, the reasons that bring somebody into counseling are not necessarily a holistic or accurate viewpoint of the entire individual. And so one of the things I try to do, in addition to working on some of the shortcomings or challenges, I want to make sure that we create an accurate picture, and we also focus on the things in your life that you're doing incredibly well, or the things in your life that are going amazingly well right now. And that tends to give people a little bit more of a balanced approach and maybe a little bit more of an objective understanding of how they're performing in their life. And we will touch more on that in a little bit. Okay, so why am I here today? Well, I do want to share a little bit about my services. I do want to talk about some resources, provide some tips if possible, and then give you an invitation to reach out if you would like to carve out some protected time to focus on whatever it is that your growth-oriented self is trying to address in a way that's a little bit more personalized. So just to recap, I'm available to all currently enrolled students, 5 appointments throughout the academic year. They are confidential. They are not part of your TCC records. There are very few exceptions to that confidentiality, but that confidentiality exists to protect you. So please be aware of that. Okay, if I can do this in an efficient manner, I'm going to quickly show you our website. And I'm assuming everybody's looking at the TCC homepage right now. All right, I saw a head nod, I'll take it. All you gotta do is click on Student Resources and go to Student Wellness Services. And I'm not gonna take you through everything on our website, but I do wanna show you how to find me. And the quickest way to do that is to go to Counseling Services, and there you will find my contact information. I also wanna make you aware of just a couple of other things. If you scroll down below, we have this thing called Let's Talk, and I always kind of sarcastically say this is the biggest kept secret at TCC. We have to promote it constantly, but every Wednesday from 1 to 2 p.m. and every Thursday from 11 to 12, I carve out 1 hour of Zoom time, and I create a generic Zoom link that any student can log into. This is not a counseling session, but if you are looking for advice, you're looking for direction, you need an objective ear, you need a referral somewhere, you're concerned about a loved one or a friend, or you just need to decompress for a few minutes, I encourage you to utilize those time slots. It's kind of like my version of walk-ins in a counseling center. The only challenge is I'm the only mental health guy that sees students around here, and I can't be all places at all times. So if you're curious about counseling, I strongly encourage you reach out on those hours, use this Zoom link when you click on this link, and you and I will have 15 to 20 minutes of protected time to sort of address what's going on and see if we can figure out what the next steps are together. The other thing I'm going to show you is if we scroll back up here, we've got this link that says find a private practice counselor outside of TCC. And as hard as this is for my ego to accept, I recognize that there are people around here who may not gel with me for whatever reason, or may be comfortable going somewhere else and keeping their personal business outside of TCC. I totally respect that. If you click on that link, it takes you to this thing called Thriving Campus, which is essentially where private practitioners get to advertise with TCC. And I think this is really beneficial because if you have a specific type of insurance or a specific issue that you're looking to get addressed, you can go over here and click through some of these filters, and we'll see what happens if somebody's looking for addiction-related issues and they have Aetna insurance. If you hit apply, you'll automatically get a result of people in the community that may or may not be a good fit for you. It's a big benefit. TCC pays for this, so I encourage everybody to just be aware it exists. And if you have questions or you have concerns, or you're not sure if you want to pursue counseling, then I always encourage you to reach out to me or join the Let's Talk times right here. And it's just, again, protected time for us to talk it out a little bit more and see what makes the most sense for you. And then finally, I'm just going to show you this link, which is other mental health resources throughout the community. It's also got this crisis text line, which is a 24-hour support for students. I hope you've seen this flyer throughout the campus, but all you have to do is text relief to 741. 741. You're guaranteed to get connected with somebody 24/7. And then as you continue to scroll down, we've got a number of resources out in the community. But again, and maybe this is kind of a plug for me, sometimes I think that information is overwhelming if you don't know how to navigate the system or discern what makes the most sense for you. So I always encourage people to reach out, and at least we get to talk through it more and figure out what makes the most sense. All right, let's see if I can get back to my PowerPoint presentation. Okay, everybody's tracking with me, right? You're looking at some fairly mediocre, boring slides. Yep, can I get a head nod? All right. I got a quasi smile from Dr. Dickens. I'll take that. Okay, so this is what I'm passionate about. It's this thing called the cognitive triad, and we're not going to get into a ton of depth today, but I think it's kind of one of those generic things that applies to all human beings. And based on the faces I saw in the Zoom, I think we're all mostly human, and so I think everybody's going to get some sort of benefit out of this. And as a counselor, I can tell you that regardless, generally speaking, regardless of why a student reaches out to me, there's generally always these underlying symptoms of anxiety or symptoms of depression that are accompanying whatever else is going on in their life. And so one of the things I like to make students aware of is this thing called the cognitive triangle. And essentially, what this triangle is telling you is that your thoughts affect your feelings, which then influence your behaviors or your actions, which influence your thoughts again. We're going to get into a little bit more detail, but the general triad is that your thoughts sort of initiate a lot of things that unfold in your life. Specifically, those thoughts are typically responsible for creating feelings that then influence behaviors and then influence new thoughts. I cannot underscore enough the importance of these thoughts. They are typically the genesis of everything. So you kind of have to get on board with me here before we proceed. But one of the things that we need to sort of acknowledge is that, and just a couple of examples are, and Jonica, I'm looking at you on the screen right now. So if I tell Jonica that as soon as this Zoom is over, there is a Ferrari and $1 million waiting for you right outside the corner, and it's got your name on there, nobody else is going to take it. That thought, and Jonica just smiled, so thank you for the courtesy smile, Jonica. That thought automatically leads to feelings most likely of eager anticipation or happiness, right? Which then leads to the behavior of, as soon as this Zoom session is over, Jonica literally runs outside into the hall to get that cash, count it, and look for the keys to the Ferrari, which then influences new thoughts somewhere along the lines of, man, life is good today. Like, Tuesday is kicking some butt. I am winning, which leads to additional emotions of feeling great. It's this giant feedback loop. It's very difficult to experience any type of an emotion without it being preceded by a thought first. The catch is that oftentimes we're not really aware of those thoughts. In other words, our brain is masterful. It's sort of running itself all day, every day, including when we're sleeping, right? Creating dreams. This brain runs non-stop. Those thoughts are constantly produced by your brain, whether you intentionally give that brain permission or not. And I think everybody can relate to this sensation when your mind is racing or you're becoming completely overwhelmed by your thoughts. You start to thought spiral because it's very difficult to control those thoughts. And generally speaking, when that happens, those thoughts leads to feeling of insecurity, negativity, anxiety, stress, sadness, anger, which lead to behaviors in our life that coincide with those emotions and influence in new thoughts. The only thing I want you to be aware of right now is that those thoughts are creating the emotions, influencing the behaviors. But at this point in the game, you didn't necessarily give yourself permission to have that thought. That thought automatically influenced you with or without your awareness. Let me ramble here a little bit more. When we talk about the brain is a master at archiving things from the past. The brain has to remember negative things from the past in order for you to learn a lesson and try to avoid that in the future. Your brain will constantly dwell in the past. Your brain has a tendency to also anticipate future events. And if we're honest with ourselves, we can also say that that brain tends to anticipate negative outcomes in the future. That's not necessarily a bad thing in terms of helping us anticipate pitfalls. But when we're anticipating negative things or we're remembering negative things, as we've already established, those thoughts are going to influence the emotions we feel. Generally speaking, most people just sort of become aware of that feeling of being overwhelmed, that feeling of being anxiety ridden, that feeling of extreme sadness or fear. And that leads to behaviors in their lives that generally don't produce positive outcomes. Generally, people aren't necessarily satisfied with. But the key component is we're often missing those thoughts that triggered that whole cycle. And here's a typical cycle. You have what's called a fleeting thought or an automatic thought. These are thoughts that your brain just produces at the drop of a dime without you being aware of it. And that thought, as a general rule, when we're talking about anxiety or negative emotions, it tends to be negative. And one example could be, I just did something wrong. I just irritated somebody that's important to me. I just said something that put somebody off. There's a thought. What did I do wrong? What's wrong with me? This thought, again, is fleeting. It's very, very quick. 99 times out of 100, we will not catch it. But if you have the thought that there is something wrong with me or I did something wrong, that thought automatically has to lead to feelings of anxiety, worry, agitation, hot flushes, sweaty palms, guilt, indecision, being more self-conscious. There is no way that the thought, there is something wrong with me, I did something wrong, can lead to positive emotions. Your body will respond to a thought. It does not have the ability to determine what is reality and what is not. The body just responds to thought. So if that thought pops into your brain, your body has no choice to respond, right? Those types of feelings that we might be experiencing from this thought, what did I do wrong? What's wrong with me? There's something wrong with me, leads to these types of behaviors or these actions: retreating to a comfort zone, forgetting what you're doing, crying spells, avoiding a situation, which we'll touch on in a little bit, Fleeing, spending lots of time, spending lots of money, overeating, retreating inside of yourself, avoidant types of behaviors. As a general rule, this little thought slips in, right? It leads to these feelings. Nobody likes feeling anxious. Nobody likes feeling sad. There might be a sense of comfort in those if those are emotions that we consistently experience, but nobody wakes up and says, man, I hope today really sucks. I hope I can feel a heightened level of anxiety or depression all day long. I'm really going to strive for that. That's not accurate. So what's the first thing we do if we feel anxious? We try to avoid. We avoid the situation, which then leads to behaviors or influences new thoughts. See, I told myself I am a loser. I did do something wrong. I've just ruined that relationship. That thought has no choice but to create additional feelings that would be considered or construed as being negative, non-beneficial to humans, right? Which will then reinforce new behaviors that might be even more avoidant, reinforcing those thoughts. This is a giant feedback loop. At the pinnacle, at the genesis, the initiator of all of this stuff is our thoughts. So, assuming you're still with me on this, and I'm assuming that everybody is able to relate in one way or another to the fact that, yeah, if I'm really being honest with myself, if I'm really being aware, these thoughts are having a tremendous impact on the way I feel. The problem is I'm just not generally aware of those thoughts when it's happening in the moment. And so I want to kind of hammer this in a little bit. You are not your thoughts. There's no chance of you being your thoughts. Your thoughts are produced by a brain. Your brain is an organ. It's one of many organs, many parts that is there to serve you. It's a piece of the puzzle, right? It's there to be an attribute. It's there to serve a function. You are not your thoughts. You are not your brain. Your brain is an organ. Your brain is generating those thoughts. But we humans have this tendency to totally identify with our thoughts, or to totally subscribe to those thoughts, or to take all of those automatic or those fleeting thoughts, those thoughts that are constantly penetrating the brain, right? Constantly influencing how we feel, constantly causing us to react to them. We have this tendency to just assume that they're gospel, to assume that they're true. Our body can't differentiate, and therefore our body has to react to those thoughts. You didn't give your brain permission to generate those thoughts. We'll say since the age of 5, and that's just kind of a ballpark number, but that would be the age at which point maybe you were able to start generating a little bit more complicated thoughts or responding to your environment, trying to navigate this world, right? Your brain sort of developed the habit, the pattern of developing these thoughts, excuse me. And it's sort of done that consistently without your awareness ever since. If you can grasp this concept, I would say that maybe without exaggeration, you're going to be more aware than roughly 99% of the population. And that is, your thoughts affect your feelings, which influence your behaviors, which influence new thoughts. There is no way to feel and act differently in your life unless you are more aware of those thoughts and learn how to change them, creating new feelings and new outcomes in your life. There's an old adage out there, you become what you think about. That can be dissected in a lot of different ways, but essentially what it's saying is those thoughts are the genesis of all your feelings and all the behaviors that lead to outcomes in your life. So let's look at this a little bit differently. If you're not your thoughts, we can agree with that. You're not your brain's an organ. Then what are you? Well, this teeters on spirituality, depending on your kind of personal philosophy of life. But what I'm trying to get you to do is become the observer of your thoughts. In other words, the very common human experience is to be completely consumed by our thoughts. Our thoughts literally own us. They hijack us. They have taken over our body, and it sends us into this tailspin We don't differentiate ourselves from our thoughts. We get totally consumed in those thoughts. And therefore, we see the entire world and every one of our experiences through the filter of those thoughts. So to identify as the observer of your thoughts allows you to differentiate yourself. It allows you, the observer, to sort of look at those thoughts from a little bit more of an objective perspective. You're no longer consumed by them. You're literally a separate entity that is now monitoring the behavior of your brain. Again, those automatic thoughts being produced without your permission all day long versus being consumed by your brain. There's a significant difference there. When you become the observer of your thoughts, you have the ability to monitor your thoughts. You have the ability to develop more awareness about what type of thoughts are pumping through your brain all day long, affecting the way you feel. When you become the observer of your thoughts, you get to do one of the most powerful things a human being is capable of. You get to challenge that thought and determine whether or not that thought is accurate, whether or not you believe in that thought, whether or not you're truly giving your brain permission to create that thought. And if the answer to any of those statements is no, you get to create a new thought from nothing. You are the only one in the world that has the ability to create new thoughts for yourself. Chad Michael can influence you, circumstances can influence you, outcomes can influence you, friends can influence you. They're just influences. At the end of the day, nobody has the ability to produce a thought for yourself. When you start to become the observer of your thoughts, you then have the ability to monitor. Be your own lawyer, be your own judge. Is that thought accurate? If it's not, you and only you are empowered to change that thought. That thought then has no choice but to alter the way you feel, and by law, alter the behaviors, your actions, which again, by law, will have to change outcomes in your life. You have created meaningful change in your life. I'm not going to go into too much detail, and I'm a little bit short on time here, but how do you become the observer of your thoughts? Well, this is the part that kind of teeters on spirituality a little bit. If you're not your brain and you're not your thoughts and you kind of occupy a body, what are you? Well, that's your own personal philosophy on life, but some of the common things people identify with might be soul, consciousness, personality. I'm my mind, I'm my life force, I'm energy, I'm the individual. It's really up to you what term you use that you sort of identify with on a personal level. But the point is, any of those terms that you choose or identify with, there is this sense of self, and that sense of self possesses the brain that creates the thoughts. And when you start to identify with that, you have no choice but to be the observer of the thoughts, because you're no longer identifying as the thoughts. Okay, I'm going to press on here just a little bit. If anything I'm saying is resonating with you, there's a step further exploring the concept of presence, which is really getting grounded in the external environment and learning how to sort of experience the now without the interference of your thoughts. But I'm not going to go into too much detail. If you'd like to meet one-on-one, it's a fun little area to explore. But step number one is always becoming more aware of those thoughts and the impact that they're having on your feelings and your behaviors. So what's the point of all this? So, wow, Chad, you just taught me a magic trick how to change my thoughts. That doesn't mean things change overnight. That by no means that the circumstances in your life just magically change. I certainly recognize that a lot of us have a lot of adverse experiences or circumstances in our life that will require a tremendous amount of effort and time, persistence to overcome. I'm not trying to minimize that stuff. But what I am saying is, when you have the ability to become more aware of your thought process and how that's impacting your emotions and behavior as a result, you get the gift of being able to respond to situations in a way that's very intentional, versus what we tend to do, and believe me when I say this, I am preaching to myself as much as you, versus reacting from sort of an unaware perspective, which means that brain takes over again. It gets to dominate the way we feel and our behaviors. And that's backwards. My goal is to empower everybody to become the observer of those thoughts, challenge those thoughts, make sure they're accurate, make sure they're holistic, make sure that those thoughts are leading to outcomes that are beneficial in our life. And if we have that awareness and we deem that not to be the case, again, it's one of the most powerful things a human being has the ability to do, and that is create new thoughts. And only the observer of the brain has the skill set to manipulate and intentionally tell the brain what types of thoughts to develop. So that is my little soapbox on the power of our thoughts. Again, here's some resources for you. I've already touched on the crisis text line. You know how to get in touch with me, I hope, through the website. We talked about some of the community agencies, private practitioners. If you all are familiar with the Calm app, it's essentially a meditation app. It's got other attributes as well, but Wellness is giving those away free. If you would like it for a year, reach out to Wellness at tulsacc.edu and say, hey, I had to listen to Chad ramble for 35 minutes today. I think I've earned a free Calm app, and we will get you connected with that. And then last but not least, this is what you should be seeing around campus if you're on campus for the crisis text line. Here's a reminder about Let's Talk on Wednesdays and Thursdays. Check out that link, drop in, say hi. We can talk in more detail, personalize the situation a little bit better. And then this is also COPES, if you're not familiar with it. COPES is a 24-hour service that's available to students. If they're in crisis, they don't have to be in crisis, but they're one of the best in the business of what they do in the Tulsa community. So I want to make sure you have some exposure to that. And then last but not least, there's just my contact information again. So thank you. I know that was a little muddy. I know it was all over the place, but I appreciate the opportunity to get to ramble to you and hopefully help people look at the power of their thoughts and the awareness they can have about those thoughts and impact on their lives and just a little bit, from a little bit different perspective than before. So, thanks a lot.
Thank you so much, Chad. Next is our Q&A. Please feel free to open your mic, turn on your audio. Any questions for Chad? Okay, so thank you again for our speaker, Chad. We appreciate to have you every semester. This is the third semester based on high demand from the students.
All right, Joy, you're too good to me. All right.
Popular demand. So thank you so much. I do realize that today we're honored to have Megan Korn, our Chief Development Officer from TCC Foundation, coming to our event. So welcome, Megan.
Hi, thanks for having me. Sorry I haven't been able to make the other ones you've invited me to. I finally had a free every day, so I appreciate the invitation.
We appreciate you. So I saw Megan last week. Together with Dr. Dickens, we attended the Oklahoma Women's Foundation presentation. So Megan was there to support us. So Megan, would you like to say something else? Anything to share with us?
No, I just think this is a great program. I mean, I'm so excited that it's going on. Just even being at the grant convening last week. By the way, Dr. Dickens did great. He presented the program and showed what we were doing. And just seeing some of the other programs as well at other schools, I think there were some good ideas shared. And I hope that, some of those ideas get passed on here too. So it was overall, it was really great. And we're glad we can help this group with their programming, and we are working on also a proposal for some of the funding that Women's Foundation of Oklahoma has given as well for this year. So that will be coming soon. Dr. Dickens and I need to talk and put that together, but it's out there. So
Right.
glad you guys are doing
Thank
it.
you. Thank you for your dedication and good work. And I'm hoping that everything goes well with your family and with your mother. So thank
so
you.
much. Thank you.
All right. So I'm going to next going to go back to our survey. There's and then the prize drawing. Okay, so I know a lot of students have different events. Some of the through the group chat, we know that some student has expressed their desire to watch the recording after the event because of the different things, Tulsa Achieve volunteers, and different school functions. So for that reason, we're gonna put it on the website. So the website, as I told you before, it's a moment ago, it's if you search by TCC swap or swap TCC, our website will populate, and then you can see a very attractive survey link for every event. So make sure. And last event we had 4 prize drawings. And this event, we're going to have 6. So everybody in attendance today will win the prize. So we got 6 students. So congratulations to all of you. And Kelly is kind enough to tell me today she's going to process everything. So you will be receiving $5 gift cards to, I think it's the gas station, right? So for you to purchase anything of your choice. And then please make sure to do the survey on the website, or are you following this link? I'm going to put this in the chat box there. Okay, so next I'm going to leave a few minutes for Janica to comment on our e-board or activity planning. And feel free to stay.
Thank you, Joy. Hi, everyone. So currently, Joy has our executive board pulled up on the PowerPoint. As you can see, we do have 2 openings, one for our secretary and one for our public relations. So those 2 positions are available. Currently, we do have 2 other of our executive board members on the call, I believe 2. We've got Kat. She is our social events co-chair. I'm not sure if you're co-chair anymore. I think you're the only social events chair currently. I'm not sure though. I don't know if Brandy's still here this semester. And then Sean Ross is also here. He is our treasurer. So yeah. Promotion, yeah.
Oh, I have a question for Sean. Yes, from last event, we have announced that we have received a donation from Miss Mary Worker, our retired associate dean. So we have a card circulating. I think Sean has the card for our members to say thank you, because we're going to use the funds for some activities, right?
That's correct. I have the card. I need to get it to Jonica, and I just haven't taken the time to organize that.
So maybe everybody can write something on that card, or just email Sean or Danica, who would be the person in contact?
Sean and I are trying to get our schedules to match up so we can get, or he can give me the card. And then I'll be at Southeast Campus. I'm at Southeast Campus every Monday and Wednesday. I'm not sure if anyone else is at Southeast. And then I'll be at Northeast Camp. Actually, I think Northeast Campus is closed on Saturdays, isn't it? I don't know
I
what.
think there may be some Saturday classes in the morning. Yeah.
I know I'm going to be at Northeast Campus this weekend on Saturday. However, last time I was at Northeast Campus, we got there and the campus was like closed. So we had to call campus police to open up the building for us. So I'm not sure like if campuses are even open on Saturday like anymore. It's so weird with the whole COVID thing, like everything's changed and it's like, okay, what are the hours now?
So
But yeah,
Janica, from the last event, thank you, Janica and Sean. From the last event, some of our members and e-board has suggested a pumpkin patch idea for an open door activity with your kids. So what's a good day and who's coordinating that?
we were discussing going to Carmichael's Pumpkin Patch. I'm not sure if there was a date that we were talking about or not. So yes. Sean,
Once,
do you know if we discussed a date for the pumpkin patch? If not, we can start discussing a date in the group me. Is everyone a member of the group me currently? Feel free to unmute yourself so you can talk. Well, of course you are, Kat. You're the one like.
For a second, I thought you meant like another group, like a Facebook group or something. Sorry.
No, we have the executive board group me, and then we have the members group me. You're in both of them. I seen you texting or messaging in it this morning. I don't know if I said anything back, but I marked it as a like, so you knew I read it at least. Sean, great. What time will you be at Northeast Campus? I think I'm gonna be there from 1 p.m. until probably about 4:30. My event's from 2.
I'll be there from 2 to 4.
2 to 4, okay. Is it for the NSLS thing?
It is.
Awesome. Well, great. I will see you there. I'm leading it, so.
That works.
So yeah, I will get that from you then. And then Jazzy, I think will also be there.
so
Oh, that's a good
there's
idea,
a,
Kelly.
yeah, Callie has typed something, information here. Did you know about Pumpkin Town at 60th and Garnett? They're open 10 a.m. to 10 p.m. daily. That's a good resource.
We actually didn't think about that one. No, are you, Kat? Can you tell us what exactly is going on?
Yeah. Anyone 16 and up can volunteer at the zoo. They're asking for volunteers to hand out candy, to decorate, to do the pumpkin patch, sing, all that kind of stuff. So my 16-year-old and I are gonna do it. I got an email for it today, so I will try to see if I can send it to you with the information in the group message.
Yeah, if you could put it in the group me, that'd be awesome. I know there are a few parents who like need the volunteer hours for Tulsa Achieves and some other resources that they do. So instead of Carmichael, since Pumpkin Town is like more local, how would y'all feel about changing the location from Carmichael to Pumpkin Town, since we didn't really establish where we were going? Sounds good to you? I think Carmichael's is like 45 minutes from here. Ooh, Andrea, that
Great.
sounds awesome. I'm so glad that you both are like volunteering and giving back to the community. That's so impressive. Especially as like parents, like and a student, it's sometimes hard to actually be able to go out and volunteer and do things. So props to both of you for making the time to give back to our community. I think that's pretty much all I had to discuss today, Joy. We can do a poll in the group meet to discuss and finalize what day we want to go to the Pumpkin Town. Maybe we can get someone to call and find out what the cost is and see, maybe, do we need to vote on it here at this meeting or can we do it in the group meeting? Or how would we pay for the cost of Pumpkin Town?
So maybe we should go through group me because I know a lot of members are not able to attend today. So everybody here is with the group me, right? If you're not, make sure to email Jonica or Andrea Gibson.
I don't think Andrea's here today either. Is she at the there's a volunteer event going on and I know Jazzy's there. I think Andrea might be there too. I think they're both part of Tulsa Achieves. Or was it?
Mm-hmm.
I'm pulling up the group me now so I can look.
Yeah, that's what Jassy has mentioned. So we have about 24 students who requested recording. And then we have, so our total members like active participation or who desire to participate are around 40 something.
Okay. Andrea, I'm not seeing you in the group me. If you want to be added, you can just send me your phone number and I can add you to the group me. And then let's see, we've got May in there. Lewis, or is it Louise or Lewis?
Lucy.
Lucy, sorry. Would you like to be added to the group me as well?
Yeah.
If you could just send me your phone number or like type it in the chat and I can go ahead and add you right now. And then Lucy and Andrea, were either of you interested in joining the executive board? We have the secretary position and public relations available. The secretary would be responsible for kind of taking minutes whenever we have an executive board meeting, taking attendance. If you recall in the beginning of the meeting, we kind of did a, had everyone drop their team number in the chat. Currently, our vice president is recording the team numbers and sending the Excel sheet to Joy every week. So that would be something our secretary would do instead of the vice president. And then the secretary would also put in, go onto the president's website and upload minutes to there. And then public relations, we have a Facebook page. So our public relations person would be in charge of the Facebook page and any other social media pages that you wanted to create. They would also be in charge of any flyers that we hand out and market and stuff. So far, Joy is the one who's been doing the majority of that. She does excellent work marketing our events for us and stuff, but it would be nice to have someone to help Joy work on some of that so Joy's not doing all the work for our organization by herself. So yes. Um,
I'll also put it in our group.
okay, thank you. I've been busy talking, so I have not added either of you to the group me yet. Kat, are you able to add them while I talk?
I'm not.
Okay.
I don't think. Do I have, I mean, if I don't have to have an authorization or anything, then I should be able to.
No, you
Let me
don't have
see.
to.
Okay, let me look at it. I think I can figure it out. Just
Awesome.
because I
thank
haven't done
you.
it doesn't mean I can't.
I appreciate it. May, did you have any other questions about the responsibilities or expectations of either of the positions?
I'm sorry if you were talking to me, I missed it. One of my students
No,
came
I
on.
was talking to May.
Okay, sorry. All right.
Thank you, Kat. Awesome. Do either of the positions sound interesting to you? Or something that you'd like to do or learn more about, get experienced with? And joining the executive board, it helps give you experience and it looks good on your resume. Plus you get I don't know, like to me, anytime I join the executive board, we kind of like, we talk together more, we hang out together more. It's just like you've got a closer network of people. So F, May, or Andrea or Lucy, if either of you are interested in it, yeah, just let us know. And again, yay, congratulations, everyone. I think we all won the $5 Quick Trip gift card, was it today's? Hey, who doesn't love like a free gas card? I completely understand it, Andrea. So kids and school and work, definitely a full-time job right there. So yes, we have 3 minutes left. What else was on the agenda for today, Joy?
That's it for me. And I'd like to thank all of you for participating and for Megan to come talk to us and Dr. Dickens and the e-board members for your dedication. We had a pretty much daily conversation to support each other through the group me. So if you have not joined yet, make sure to join so that we can communicate with each other. I think that through the group me, once the vote is on, I can also email the members who has participated this semester, including those who watched the recording. So it's about 45, I think. I haven't counted, but it's about that number. So we have a lot of interest. In the past, I've been reaching out to our large caseload of our office, which is about 15,000 people. But for this event, I just sent to members because we're now more steady with our members who has been requesting and watching the recording. So one thing I just want to quickly, we have 1 minute, want to quickly share my our website to see for past recordings, to show you our past recordings. Let's see, TCC. Okay, so real quick. Hey, sweetie, that's so cute. Okay, so students who are parent swap, right? This is our website. I just type in TCC moms or swap, and then it's here, and then you scroll down to the bottom, right? And then this is the recording link, and there's a survey. Please make sure to take that. It takes a few minutes, just very quickly. We want to see how you think about our survey, and then how you think about our event, anything to improve. What type of speakers would you like to hear for the next session. I know we have invited Sandra Rana to talk about career choices, and that's good. And then, Jonica, would you, if you could stay after the meeting for a minute or two to talk about next event. So that's all. Anybody else? If nothing else, we're going to end the session here. So have a wonderful day, and thank you, Jonica.